actually those two portions, which is Achremot, after the death, and Kedushim, they are not actually separated. They are one portion, because one actually teaches us how not to approach, meaning what to separate ourselves from. It means the first thing is saying to us that not every time is the same time. Yeah. And if we approach not with the right inner timing means that there is a mutual agreement of the inner placement, meaning the spirit, and the inner structure of the higher worlds. If there is tuning, this is the right time. If there's no tuning, everything that keeps you alive or keeps your desire for sacredness alive will ascend and depart from you. And this is the death of the sons of Aaron. Okay. So it means, first, what to separate oneself, so there need to be an agreement, an inner agreement of the timing. That will come with what we call holidays. Holidays mean the holiness of time. The days, meaning the pulse of time, the pulse of light. How the community gathered to testify for it, that's what makes it holy, like a marriage. Yeah. So it starts with what not to do and with what to come, only with that which is Shchina, with the female aspect of community, meaning the community of all spirits. With this, it can approach. So holiness is to do with separation and union, separating oneself from being part of the whole into exclusiveness, dedicating myself. In Hebrew, holy or sacred is to do with dedication, that you dedicate, okay? Or one can say the higher part of dedication is adhesion, meaning it's not separable anymore. Okay. So, but it actually, like a marriage, need a constant surveillance and a constant updating, because it changes from day to day, meaning path of light, invitation, different possibilities. So, and as well, the testifying or the space of it need to actually update itself as well. So it's a constant, sacredness is a constant updating, or in short, evolution. Okay. Because, you see, otherwise, this is what Arvut suggests. Actually, that love thy, I can't say friend, let's say the other, as thyself, I am the Lord God, means that the whole, what Baal HaSulam is bringing us, that this general law is actually where we start. This is why when we study, when a child starts to study Torah, it starts from here. It starts from the ways and means to approach. Then you can understand Bereshit. Yeah. Not before that. Because this would be a standard issue of being able to understand. Community, witnessing, and dedication, and being able to separate myself from different perception. Okay. That has been at play so far. So how Zohar Kedoshim actually starts, I think it's very telling. Okay. Because we know that the Zohar is actually the intention of Torah. Okay? So Kedushim starts, if you have Zohar, it's the article, you shall be holy. Okay. So, and the Lord God spoke to Moses, saying, speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord, your Elohim, am holy. So first we see already what we spoke so far. In order to present the presence of holiness, we need a congregation. It's not all the time. Usually it is said, and the Lord God spoke to Moses saying, tell them, or say to them. It is very rare that speak to all the congregation, meaning it need a congregation. It need that which can generate, this is the space. A space that can generate witnessing, that can generate kon, which is to do with the call of the law of the universe of togetherness. So this is how, from this, the Zohar starts. Okay, speak to all the congregation of the children of Israel and say to them, you shall be holy. It's a promise. It's a promise as we understand from the covenant or the agreement. Okay. The agreement is that you will work as a priest for all human life, for all the spirits. And it seems that if you will do that, the reward is being holy. You will be like me, but you will be. It's inherent for you to work for it, or even to desire it. So, for your Elohim, which your Lord God, am holy. Rabbi Elazar commenced the discussion. Be not like a horse or the mule, which have no understanding. How many times did the Torah attest to the people? How many times did she raise her voice in every direction to awaken them? But all lay sleeping, unaware of their sins, meaning unaware that they are closed, that that everything that in a way sins and defilement are in a way two different. Defilement is meaning that I'm close to the light. Sins suggest that I'm full of holes. I cannot hold anything. Everything escapes me. Okay? So, and if we look at actually what is being said in here, okay, it is bringing us not to actually be like let's say animalistic part of us, which is a horse or a mule, which has a reason why it's on one hand the stubbornness, on the other hand the one can say the illusion that that the horse is leading the rider. Okay, so don't be like a horse or a rider which have no understanding. How many times Zohar is saying, did the Torah, the action of light, attest to people? How many times did she raise her voice? How does the Torah raises her voice? What it means, you know, who is responsible for the decibel or the volume of how we are able to hear Torah, how we are able to hear the light. This is a question because it is a question of whether or not there is an ability to become holy, to be in tune with holiness, one can say. So when it says how many times she raises her voice, we must see that it is to do with how much we read Torah as the interpreter of our reality, or how much we read the action of the light as an one can say as an explanation to the state that we are in. It means that the more we realize the true state of ourself, we can hear the shout louder. It becomes like in our the amplifiers in our sensitivity of recognizing the truth about ourselves, or the true state of ourselves, which actually can or deafen completely ourselves to the call of Torah, or open it and amplify it. And that because Torah is the water of life. So if we are open to it and it's sort of sip through, percolate through us, it changes our sensitivity to be able to increase or decrease the volume of its effect upon us. So this means not to be a horse or a mule. Okay? It means to be sensitive to the calling of Torah. And that's what they say. So how many times did she raise her voice in every direction to awaken them, but all lay asleep, all lay sleeping, unaware of their sins. They do not look or pay attention to the time when they will rise up to face the day of heavenly judgment. At this time, the heavenly King will exact from them the shame of the Torah. Meaning, actually, we will be in judgment for us, in ourselves. We will be put in a state that we will be able to see how many times Torah has tried to save us and called us, and we pretended or we worked hard to deafen ourselves to its call. Will be our spirit, one can say, will judge us for this. This is what it's called to face the day of heavenly judgment. At this time, we will feel the shame of the Torah that cries out against them, and yet they did not even turn their face to her. All are found totally defective, since they do not know of the faith. So now we come back to belief of the heavenly King. Woe to them, and woe to their soul, and woe to their soul. So, in the prayer of the morning, it is said that apart from being thankful or having a gratitude for actually having a self, it means I thank thee for being I, for having an I, for having a self that can actually be aware of the compassion, of the constant compassion that agreed to give me the consciousness of the Spirit back, because he has a great faith in me, or in the part that he imparted to us. Okay. So faith has to do with our agreement or our willingness to listen to the identity of the Spirit in us, because only she can hear the call of Torah. And this is how Zohar is starting the notion of sacred or holy. So she's calling, and the way she's calling is for the Torah is number 2. For the Torah attests to him and says, whoever is simple does not suggest stupid, but suggests that is open. Is open because he's not clogged with all the one can say all the cloth or all the covers of his ego or her sense perception or our ability to perceive. So it speaks about someone who is naked as well, open-hearted. Okay, she's calling. This is the people that Torah is calling, not those who presume that they know Torah, that they know the light, and only those who presume that they have a huge gap in understanding and in feeling. And that starts the steps towards holiness. Okay. It's a promise that actually awakens our thrive. It means that if you know that you can be, you will be. It means first that you have something in you that has this tendency, this nature, or this desire to be. But it's quite clear that it's a way. It's actually like love thy other, thy friend like yourself. It cannot be a command, because it's in a way it's the idea of what to desire, because it's only part. It's part of the. It's like the equation of you will be holy because I'm holy. You will be able to love the other as thyself because I'm God and these parts are in you. So it's let's say it's pushing us, or it's actually encouraging us to try not to look at holiness and love as unattainable, but not to think that we already attained it. Yeah. So yes, holiness and love seems to be a partner, one can say that holiness is a space where love can reside. So if you separate yourself from hating, from resenting, and you actually dedicating your perception to see that which is holy, meaning part of God in each one, first in the one which are more demanding, which is the near to you, the near in intention, then you expand it, then you can actually feel and fulfill love thy Lord or love thy Creator, because otherwise you cannot. And it's not a demand, it's a way to sort of prepare us or build in us the right tools or the right vessel to be able to express it, so it will live in us. Yeah, is it clear? Okay. So,
Thy friend is a mitzvah.
Yeah, but it's
so mitzvah is a promise.
Holiness is promise because it says, but it's one can ask, does the Torah command something which is not a reality, and it seems to me not possible. So the command, love thy friend, is saying that this is a general rule under which you should train yourself to get to this point. Yeah. So it says that most of the time you'll discover that you're not there. Yeah. By mitzvah, you're saying you're asking me as mitzvah is commandment, but mitzvah is the ability to join. It's not a command. It's what we need to be in desire to join. You cannot command love. You can command it, or what's called ira'ah. But you cannot command love. But you can say that if you will be connected fully, meaning this is why Rabbi Akiva is saying this is the general law. All what we do, all the commandments actually are to prepare us to be able, all the 612 are to prepare us to actually have this state of love the other as thyself. I'm the Lord, I'm the being. Ani Havaya, I'm Havaya. Okay? This. And this is why it starts the article of Arvut. Because it is clear that otherwise we are saying, why actually Torah gave us a commandment or let's say an offering that we cannot fulfill. It means that this is what we need to strive for. That everything that we read so far is to bring us to this point, to be able to fulfill this point. This is why it's called the general law. Klal Gadol b'Torah.
Say that, can one say that if you fulfill all the 612 mitzvot, then it's a promise that you will love thy friend?
Oh, what is 612 mitzvot? Is 612 organs of the body of Shchina. If you will join them, yes, you will feel love. It's a promise. But you cannot you cannot fill this part of the equation with differently than the other. You have to fill the equation with the same. If X is is everyone, X is everyone on the right side and on the left side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So all the way to join, every time we manage to join something which is part of the organs of Shchina, the sum up of it will be our ability to feel love. Yeah, this is what he's saying.